Here for 2.1, before we even get into what, more specifically you'll use for a Java program, what we're going to look at are the different parts of a Java program. So first and foremost, if we look here, this is a simple code block. A code block is, I don't mean to make this sound somehow more complicated than it is. It is a block of code. These 9 lines of code all go together. Here at line number 1, we have a comment. You can tell the comment there by the 2 forward slashes. So what this tells the compiler is don't run this line of code. This is for the next developer in the chain. Here on line number 3, public and class, these are keywords. These have to be done with lowercase, just like you see here. Public is an access, a level of access that we'll actually talk about a little bit later on, so I don't feel like it's a secret, but we'll keep it abstract for now. Class, a class is a different way of looking to interact with a block of code in Java. And here is simple with a capital S. This is the name of the class. So here you can see we have the opening and closing braces. For every opening brace you have, you need a closing brace. So you can see here on lines 4 and 9, and you can see here on lines 6 and 8, where you have an opening brace, you have a closing brace. And actually, all good, IDEs, all good coding text editors will take care of this for you. So in Replit, when you use an opening brace like this, it's actually going to automatically provide for you in a new line the closing brace, which is great because that saves you heartache and tears later on when you are putting together your code. So you'll notice here inside of, again, we're just looking here at code listing 2.1, and I didn't mention the page number, but it's page number 28. We've got a class over here, and inside we have public static void main, and then string. These are arguments inside of the main declaration that you see here. For something to execute inside of a program that you're running for Java, you need main. Main is what calls out to potentially one or hundreds more classes to get something done. So this little block of code right here, public static void main, this is actually what you'll see for the most part in Replit when you are developing in the first few chapters your solutions to the problems that we're going to talk about. So the very last thing we see here is on line number 7, system.out.println. That is a command. System.out.println is a keyword that goes back for Java that gives it an idea of what you want to do, and it says, hey, here inside of those parentheses, there is a string, and print that string to the output window. That's it. You'll notice here at the end of line 7, we have the semicolon. That is the punctuation. It lets Java know that this is the end of this line of Java. So that's what a simple piece of code would look like, and this is what I'm going to have you do. I'm going to have you read down through the rest of everything that's happening here in 2.1. What I will tell you is we are not going to have to compile Java with the command line, because that really, number one, it slows down your experience in coding with Java, and number two, that's really not what you would do when you are rolling out a Java applet for use someplace. We'll get into how and why a little bit later on as like a frankly, as an aside to everything else that we're doing. This was the way you used to have to actually run Java. Like when I took Java in my master's program, we could not run the code the same way we do now inside of Replit. We could not, I was using Xcode. So when I would work with another student, we would actually have to go ahead and copy and paste the code, because it was the fastest way to do it, from an email into a new project in Xcode. We would save that, then we would have to go into the command line, and then we would have to run Java C so that we could compile our code, and it was a pain in the ass, and it took forever. Now, you simply go to Replit, and you hit run, and you wait maybe 3 seconds, and boom, your code is spat out, and that is a million times better.